And I was so happy I was smiling, but it made me look like a real dork.
Hey, it's I think we're live. Let's see. Looks like we're live.
The
Yeah.
connection of this meeting has been sent to a third party.
Okay. You know, they've changed this whole setting thing, and of course, they're not our friends today for sure.
I
But
guess I'll just click OK then, huh?
yeah.
Whoever it goes to.
Oh, it goes to Zoom, I'm sure. Okay. All right, we are live officially. I see it on my phone. Thanks for letting us know. I will trim this off. Anyways, this is Sue Greenwald with Awakened Stories. Yay! Back with the real John F. Kennedy Jr. Hey, John, how are you?
I am doing awesome now
Awesome.
that it's been such a long time that I've been so busy. But
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm back. We got internet a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and we're working out the bugs as we speak. Like,
Yeah.
I had no camera a little bit ago, and we were trying to sort that out. But
Well, that was not, just coincidence, but it's taken us 30 plus minutes to get on this live. And now it's on my phone. I usually go and monitor our comments. I can't see them. So there's some tomfoolery going on. But regardless, we're going to just talk and catch up because it's probably been a couple of months.
yeah, it's been
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
I
So,
know I feel bad that I haven't been on sharing my story, and others have been on. Lions have been on sharing and sharing.
yeah.
So yeah, we got internet a couple of days ago. It's like I'm going to take time out every single
Yeah.
day and share
Yeah.
it. The story's
Well,
too good.
so you've been basically rehabbing your son's old house so that you can live there, which is where you are now. It's not 100% complete, but it's in process, which has taken a huge amount of time because it wasn't like it was next door. You had to drive there every day, get the building materials, et cetera, et cetera. And so we kind of knew what you were doing, I think. And life has gotten really busy. Like you can feel the time is going by so quick. Like,
Oh,
yeah, it just seems like the day is over before it begins, even.
oh, so true. I mean, Friday
Yeah,
would come, and then it seemed like the next day would be Friday again.
yeah,
The
yeah,
time was just, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be 64 years old in a couple days. It's like,
Oh,
wow,
wow, wow.
three
64.
3 days after my father's execution.
Yeah. I
That's
see.
tomorrow, by the way, and they're doing a lot of documentaries on. I was watching TV this morning, and something popped up that said all day long they'll be doing videos and stuff on JFK.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's been 60 years. Okay. 60 years tomorrow. And it's still a story we all want to know the details of. It's still a pertinent, very important story in history. It was a life-changing or a society-changing event, not just from your lifetime, but everyone here on planet Earth now has been affected by this one event in some fashion, right? And, basically the control of the cabal has grown more and more and more as time has gone by. People want to know the answers. People want to know the truth. We don't even know we were lied to initially, but now we're starting to see it, right?
Yeah, it's all programming.
Yeah.
My father wanted to expose the takeover of the United States government and its people, the control to enslave us all. He wanted to change all that. They killed him. It's been going on ever since. It's been getting huge. There's so many people that are programmed into believing that our government
Yeah. Yeah.
is true, and for the people when they're just out for the billionaires and to line their pockets. Not they don't care about us. They just care about their billionaire friends, the cabal, and it's all controlled. I read a good comment. Um, we are allowing the demise of the United States of America, and it's coming. And we need to wake up to that because we're allowing it to happen.
Well, yeah. See, way back when, 60 years ago, people were really innocent, okay? they like Walter Cronkite was the big guy on TV. Okay. So he was a very trusted figure. Your medical doctor were very trusted figures in people's lives. Okay. So what's happened is all this trust maybe have been, maybe way back then was well placed, but as time has gone on, it's been slowly, incrementally corrupted. Okay. Now, for some of us, it's so blatant. Like we can see something, and like the first thing I think is, of course, I get an intuitive hit, not true. But then I'm like, what's the agenda behind this story? Who stands to benefit and why? All right. So let's just talk about the JFK murder. We all know, like, name one person on planet Earth that doesn't know that that is not a true story. I dare you. All right. We all know that story isn't true. Well, we don't know what the truth is, though. We don't know how to get the truth. So just
Yeah.
knowing that the stories we're told are not truth is important. So we see in the recent news, okay, so this is going to maybe stir the pot a little, but that Donald Trump, the president-elect, okay, the new president, is going to be releasing the JFK files finally. Now that we've been hearing this for whatever, 8 years, whatever,
Yeah.
how many years.
He didn't do it the first time. Well, here's what happens when he does expose the JFK files. He
Yeah,
exposes himself and all his other buddies, his billionaires, and the crime ring to basically pre-planned first-degree murder and
yeah,
identity theft.
yeah,
And with that said, Sue, everybody has seen my picture doing the salute. 3 days after my father was executed. 3 days after I was there doing the salute, they say, "Oh, what a cute kid," to salute his father's, casket while it's going by. Um, Hollywood,
yeah,
staged. That was a staged episode in my life. I was only 3, but I was taught for hours. I
yeah,
was told I would be signaled, and when I was poked in the back, I would do a salute. Everything is staged by these people running the
right,
show. It's
right,
all a movie.
yeah,
So, with that said, if you're awake and you get it, when you see Donald Trump going like this in front right after an assassination attempt, that would have never happened in a million
right,
years by our Secret Service unless it was a photo op. Just like me going like that when I was 3, it was a photo op. When Donald Trump did that, it was 100% a photo op. So, what does that tell you? That tells you that that was all staged, planned execution of Donald Trump to do this, because that would have never happened, people. It's time you all woke up
right,
to the bullshit they feed you in the media to brainwash you. How much, Iwo Jima, when you see the men holding up the American flag, that picture was a photo op, 100%. You see pictures like that and you just think, how patriotic. No, they want you to think it was patriotic.
it's
They
true.
wanted Donald Trump's to people to vote for Donald Trump. What a hero. He survived that bullet. It's all bullshit, people. It's time you all woke up. It's time you realize your vote does not matter. It really is. The cabal have infiltrated the Republicans, the Democrats, so huge they put who they want in no matter what, and they'll do it with photo ops, whatever they have to do to change the polls to get their people in place. And what I'm preaching is we don't want them in place. We want us in place, and us are the people, the homeless, the poor, the middle class. That's America.
Yeah,
And these people need to wake up that, hey, it's all rigged.
right.
Like I said, your vote doesn't matter. If somebody gets in power, like my father did, to try to change things for us, they simply kill us.
Yeah. I want to back up a little bit for the new people to the channel. Okay. So John wrote this book called Stolen Identity, which is available Amazon or Barnes and Noble, but it is extremely well written and very informative. Okay. So that's the basis of our conversations. All right. So it was a huge accomplishment, but this shows you his life story. So for me, we've talked maybe 55 times on video. So the biggest questions I get are are about, did you have a DNA test? Like, how do we know that you're telling the truth? Number one. The second question I always get is about the plane crash. Okay, so it is basically in this book, in our previous videos, which there's a lot of them out there. So start with the first two, you know, but the story is there. So we can paraphrase, all right? The,
Well,
D- the DNA test, like, okay, if they can shoot the most powerful and well-liked president in broad daylight, televised, if they can do that and get away with it and all the other stuff they've done since then, what makes you guys think that they can't influence a DNA test?
yeah, with that said, I was explaining to Mary Maxwell, and she interviewed me the other day. I think you can see her video on YouTube, Mary Maxwell.
Yeah,
Um, she did an interview about the plane crash. But what got me thinking is because I was talking with Mary and I said, look, they switch little kids out when they're young.
right,
When I was a child, that's what happened to me. But they switch children out within the mob families, within the cabal families, organized crime
right,
members. She was like, well, you know, they even kill the firstborn of the family. And I was like, well, Mary, sometimes they just want you to think that while they're placing that child in another family.
right,
But then DNA came out. Well, how is organized crime going to stay um, loyal and hidden to each other when they can have a child tested for DNA? If another member, crime member's family, they want to retaliate, but they're worried about killing their own children because over the years, so many children have been switched. What do? They control the DNA. That
exactly.
solves that problem right then and there.
Yeah,
The what their foundation was for keeping their tight knit group so close is they were switching family children with other families.
right,
Well, you control the DNA, and with that said, I have taken 5 DNA tests. Paid a private lab a few $1,000s. We sent them my father's DNA, and they haven't even given me. And this is, geez, it's going probably on close to a year now. They have not even given me the common courtesy of an email, a phone call. We had to call them once, and we got to run around, but it was, thousands of dollars to a private lab. They're supposed to do a full report and send you that full report. It's been about a year. No report, no acknowledgement, no email, no squat. But with that said, if you're a mother and you know children, look at any childhood photos of me
yeah,
and compare them to George Onassis, the man that stole my identity, the man they put organized crime, put him in the public view, photo op, Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Started George magazine. Um, but they placed him as me because there was billions of dollars involved. They replaced my sister and my mother. That they don't tell you what they do. They don't advertise their evil
right,
deeds,
right,
but I'm exposing what they do
right.
and their evil deeds. And it's up to the people to wake up and realize, hey, he's not bullshitting us. He's there to help us. He's there to wake us up and let us know this government is a murder crime ring. And I'm part of it. Not, I'm
You
part
know,
to expose it, let's say.
you're a victim of it. And in about a week and a half or so ago, I think Robin might have done the video of you as a child, and it morphed till your, current picture. The features are the same. All right, so there's no question in my mind anyway. And again, we've talked about this repeatedly in the videos. You have nothing to gain whatsoever by coming forward with your story. In fact, it's a hindrance to your life to tell this story. Like you're always attacked, they try to kill you, etc. You're not after fame, fortune, or anything like that. I mean, fortune would be cool, right? But
Well,
you,
enough money to survive and get by happily, but
yeah, right now
yeah.
you just want, your goal is to get the story out there. Okay, so for those naysayers, look at the childhood pictures and then compare to the current picture. And if you go on to the channels, the YouTube channel, your website, there are pictures that you can compare. All right. Then
Oh,
if you want, compare the
there's
one that we thought was you way back when, it doesn't even look close to you.
Yeah, they got aging apps, and that's what Robin did. She got a
Yeah,
childhood photo, did the aging app, and it came out, scared me because it looked just like me.
I know.
But
Yeah, it was a
there's so
great
much
job.
evidence, like the earlobes. There's naysayers. Like these earlobes, I had big fat earlobes as a child. I'm me. I still got the same big fat earlobes
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
pug nose. The man they put out right in front of people in pointy nose.
yeah,
He had
yeah,
no earlobes. They were attached. He had no earlobes. They were
yeah,
attached to
yeah,
um and there's naysayers like, oh well, earlobes will attach to your head after time. Bullshit. Wake
yeah,
up. I'm not trying to bullshit nobody. I'm putting it
yeah,
all on the line.
yeah,
But yeah, going back to earlier, it was really difficult for me to get this story out.
yeah,
I had been tortured numerous times. My memory, they tried to scramble my memory as a child so I would never remember what they pulled off. Um, so it was extremely hard. I mean, 20 years ago, um, I would try to write a book about my life. Maybe 25 years ago. I couldn't do it. Um, I would be all, I don't know, mentally, I could not write a book. I even put it on tape, and then the tapes were stolen from me. And then it was like they're going to kill me now. For sure dead because these people are the most powerful people there is.
yeah,
I have seen it. I have many examples. I've personally seen it. They have no problem killing for their business end of it.
yeah, yeah,
None at all, whether it's children, adults, mass
right.
casualties, they have no problem to do it. And a few years ago, I got some help. Jackie Goldman, this author, said, I'll
Yeah,
help you. Let's do video chats and
yeah,
get it done.
yeah.
And thank you, Jack. I could not have done it by myself.
She's done a fabulous job. Fabulous
So
job.
um, I need help on things like that to get it out. There's
Yeah,
people with skills to get the most important story. And I believe this is the most important story because, like I said earlier, the United States is going to crash.
mm. Well, I think it's going to be a radically different structure than we have now. I don't know how that's going to look when, whatever. It is not sustainable as it is. And like you said,
Robin, excuse me, too. Please
yeah.
give him his cough drops. I got a little sick puppy and he
Oh,
coughs a lot. Well, he's not a puppy, he's an old man, but
yeah. My cat has the same thing. It's awful.
oh,
But you can see that both political parties are corrupt. It is a huge game. It is all theater. And, we're seeing with this election that just happened, everybody's getting in, everyone's fighting. If you say one thing against their person, they will just rip you to shreds. All right. So for fun, I just put a couple things out on Facebook. Like they weren't even political. Oh my golly. The fur was flying. Now, I didn't even know anything about it because I don't care. Like, to me, it's just a joke, right? So people were very, very entrenched in their candidate of choice. Now, of course, we ended up with Donald Trump. Now, I know this is going to stir the pot a little more, but let's go with it. Okay. You claim to have seen Donald Trump's body in 1989 in that plane crash. All right. So my question is it possible that you were under MK Ultra at that time and the body you were shown was not him?
I've been under MK Ultra many and many times, but I'm convinced. Well, if you look at Donald Trump, he was my cousin, and he was best friends with the man that stole my identity.
Mhm.
Right now, you see many pictures of him and Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
They all are the same cabal, all of them. When I was in 1975, I did not think I had any real loved ones left. I thought they were all murdered because, you know, my sister and my mother, and I want to do a separate video and try to get justice for
Mhm.
those that have been hidden for so many years. Not only my father, everybody makes a big deal of my father being executed, but they killed my mother and they killed my sister, they killed my aunts and my cousins, and this is a huge crime ring of murder, huge. And yeah, and Donald Trump's right at the top of that.
Yeah, yeah. So the group that I work with, we know there's minimally two Trumps out there. Minimally, there might be more.
And
So we've got one guy saying, we'll say it, the good things. Then we got one guy saying corrupt and evil things. All right. So what I guess my point is, it's going to be really fun to watch how that shakes out. I think the political system is going to change. It's not sustainable. It's corrupt. And slowly people are seeing the corruption. Okay. Like it's not fast enough, but I'm not in control of it. I'm just watching it. So that's
yeah,
not a popular opinion because, again, we've been taught you're either this or that, and you can't, have any, there's no cross-pollination between those two groups here in the US, right? So,
yeah, once again, earlier I was saying how controlled it all is.
yeah,
It's all so controlled.
yeah,
It really is. They put who they want in place,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it goes
There,
back to who is the most qualified person. Who is the most qualified person to run this country, protect us, add wealth, solve all our problems? If you think about all the hundreds and hundreds of people that are more qualified with military backgrounds, with backgrounds in everything that could help us.
right,
You heard Trump say, "Oh well, he's going to expose the files and all this." Well, why didn't he?
yeah,
Um, he's going to say it again, and guess what? Take my word for it. On this day, you're not going to see him. It's not going to happen.
yeah. It's so interesting, isn't it? I mean, I look at it from an interest standpoint. For you, this is your life has been radically changed by all of this. And again, if you read the book, you're going to find out about, of course, you've been betrayed, tortured, kidnapped, poisoned, shot at, almost killed a bunch of times,
Oh,
even
when
recently.
when Bill
So
Clinton was in office, I was worried all the time. You know, there's a president in the White House that wants me dead, doesn't ever want my story out.
yeah,
Now here comes Trump again. I've been shouting and shouting. He's not the man to run this country. So I'll be looking over my shoulder twice as hard from now on.
yeah,
But I ain't giving up.
right.
I was in the post office the other day. You can't believe polls and whatever, but it's been a few weeks that I was in the post office, but there was two guys in line and they were both talking about executing Donald Trump.
Oh, are
And
you
I was
kidding?
like, you guys shouldn't be talking about that. And they're like, we don't care, blah, blah, blah. But just by the people not going with Trump's bullshit is, I think, it's bigger than people say. You got the hardcore Trump supporters, but they've been brainwashed. No hard feelings against it. They just don't know the real truth. They aren't awake to it. They're going that people that are running in office actually are for them when they're not. They're
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Nothing will change. If
yeah,
anything, things are going to get a lot worse, but they're going to get worse not because Harris is in office or Trump's in office. It's because the cabal are in office. It's going to get worse because they don't care about us. They don't care about the problems. They just want to fly around in their airplanes and drink their, champagne and eat their caviar.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what they want.
yeah,
They want to build a big nest egg for their family, for their cabal members.
right,
But this country needs to be about us little people that
right.
that are struggling each and every day at the grocery store.
When we're young, we're taught that this country is the best on planet Earth. And, we all believe that we're patriotic. But as time goes on, you see how they've treated their own people. Now, look at what's happened recently in North Carolina. Boom. That is a major event that should open everyone's eyes. That wasn't a random occurrence that happened. It's a big land grab. They're grabbing the kids. They're poisoning the people. There's tons of missing people there. So that should open everyone's eyes to what the government is capable of. They've done that repeatedly to their own people. Look at Maui. That was what, 2 years ago? That's still not resolved.
And what we have, who was in office when COVID hit?
Yeah. Yeah.
You think that was bad, people? You think that was bad? COVID? Who
Yeah.
was it? Who was our leader?
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I was walking through somewhere the other day and I saw they're still promoting the COVID vax. And I'm like, what? Like with all the lawsuits that are going on and all the information out there, they're still promoting it. And people are probably still getting it. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really it's huge.
Yeah, shocking. So, I wanted to show your website to those that don't know about it, if that's okay.
That's awesome. I really appreciate it. I
Yeah,
I really really do.
got to go find it first. That's funny. Well, in my head, it's funny. Okay, I had it queued up, and we had a lot of trouble this morning. So, all right. So here is John's new website. Okay, the real John F. Kennedy Jr. JR.com. Beautifully done, by the way. But there's a lot of photos on there. It gives a timeline. I'm just going to scroll through it a little bit so people can see it and share it around. Okay,
Yeah,
because
that one picture there on the on my left, looking at the screen of
yeah,
me as a child.
yeah,
Um, the big fat earlobes, the big pug nose.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And here you are.
and then after, on that photo, I was actually wearing a name tag that said John Kennedy on it.
Yeah,
So after that photo, then you get a pointed nose, no earlobes, dark jet black hair replacement.
right.
Now, how can people not see the switch? Well, people don't pay attention. They really don't.
Yeah, and if
Um,
you look, your eyes have a little like a kind of a tilt to them, you know, and you still have that. You can't change that really easily.
a lot of people say I had my father's eyes, have my
Yeah,
father's eyes.
yeah, yeah. So this is the main screen. I'm just going to switch through this, and let's talk about it, like the pictures. Like, so this was we have talked about this one before. This was you, and this was the
Yeah,
one that became your double, John
right.
John. Okay.
Yeah, that's when the switch happened.
Yep. Get the
There's
lighter
not
hair,
there's not a
darker
lot of
hair.
photos of me and him in the same photo, but there's a few, and
Yep.
that was one of them. Um, if you can see that school photo, our teacher was teaching us about Hitler and the regime,
Yeah.
and the way they taught it. It got all the children all excited about Hitler, so they were all giving the salute, and even John was sticking his tongue out that day. It's a great example of the bullshit that we went through.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that is me.
Yep.
On the left, second over, and then him two over from
Right
me
there.
with
And
his
that's
tongue
him.
out.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Look at the hair
listen.
color difference. If my hair
Yep.
is turning all gray now and it's a mess, but my hair was much lighter than his jet black hair, much
Yeah.
lighter.
Yeah. All right. Let's scan. We're going to scroll down and just look at some more. There's your dad. There's the famous picture. Now, I really don't know any 3-year-olds that have the attention span or would even legit notice salute. So that was a photo op, and it was a very poignant moment for those that were watching the funeral. That was a big deal.
Oh, it was a huge deal. That's one of the
Yeah.
most popular photos.
Yeah.
And like I say, it was a photo op.
Yep.
Just like, you're gonna see Donald Trump's, fist in the air after a faked assassination attempt on his life. Not that it was fake, because people probably really died that day, but they
Yep.
don't care.
Yeah.
With that said, if you could take over for a minute, I gotta take a break real quick.
All right.
So
Hey, I'm going to show the website off.
awesome. I'll be right back.
All right. All right. So this was the main page. Let's go over to the timeline page that I think is fascinating. So this is just partial. Now, some of these dates are guesstimated. So we used ages because John was often under MK Ultra. And also, think of it this way. He was from an extremely wealthy family. So when he lived in the White House, he was under the care of nannies, Secret Service agents. They flew around the world. They did this, they did that. When you're a little kid, you don't know any better. You do what the adults tell you to do. All right. So after his father was assassinated, that's what happened. He was still flying around the world. He met a lot of famous people. He did whatever kind of he was guided to do. Right. So about at the age of 8, his mother married Aristotle Onassis, and Aristotle's one of his sons, Alexander, was murdered and died in John's arm in a plane crash, right? So over time, both Aristotle and Jackie had moved to Bullhead City, Arizona, where they were both murdered there. All right. In the meanwhile, John, the one that we're talking with today, the real John Jr., lived with the Quigleys in California. And basically, he was subjected to torture, kidnapping, witness to murder, all sorts of organized crime. And everyone in that area where he lived was involved with that. All right. So I'm just showing them the timeline page and kind of giving the overview of the story.
I
All
would
right.
love, like I said earlier, I couldn't do any of this by myself. This was actually um, done by a friend of yours to
Yes.
help me,
Yeah.
and it's so appreciated because I could have never done this.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, my I would love to see my Hollywood career and my career as an artist on here also, because there's pictures of me as a child with many famous artists.
I'm gonna go
Um,
to the gallery and see what's there. So yeah, that is a really good point, and I probably need to write that down, don't I? I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong button.
mm.
Um, so here's some more pictures. It's the gallery page. So again, look at the features here, like kind of the tilt of the eyes.
Well,
So
even in the top of that photo, you can see the blondish hair.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down these. And again, notice the features. All right, ears, the unattached lobe, if you will, the eyes. Again, I know you're just like a
And look, I even got the same tooth.
kid. You're good. All right, so the features. Yeah, it would be good if we put those pictures on here. Like, again, look at the ears. Do you see the earlobe there, you guys? And kind of the tilt of the eyes. All right. All right. Let's see.
And I did suck my thumb. I sucked my thumb for a long time. I was insecure as a kid. I
Mm.
even had a little blankie that I carried everywhere.
I think a
Uh,
lot of kids do so. No. All right. Let's see. So there's you in school again, a school picture. All right. So this is you. Is that you there?
no, that's George or John,
Okay. And
and
this,
John meaning double. See how he is showing me his ring on
yeah.
his
And this is
finger?
you right here.
Yeah, that is me right there. And if you look, my shoes were falling off.
Uh,
They wanted me to remember that day.
okay.
They wanted me to remember that day. I was wearing size 12 shoes, I believe.
Yeah.
They were falling off. If you look closely, you can see my sock. It's because my shoe was slipping off my foot. It was entirely too big. But
Why?
he was showing me his ring.
Yeah.
We were taught rings are really important. When somebody gives you a ring, it's very important. It's kind of like a wedding ring. It means a lot. And he was showing me a ring that I believe he got from John Gotti. And I didn't have it, but I said, hey, I was just with the Queen of England and she gave me a ring this big because the Queen of England did give me a ring.
Yeah.
It was taken away from me as soon as she gave it because that's how they play their games. But yeah, it was an ugly green stone. I'm not sure. Kind of like a mossy um but I was proud of it and I was telling him, he was like, look at my ring. And I'm like, well, I got it wasn't this big. Not that I had it, but I was that's with the conversation me and him were having that
Yeah.
day.
So this is the one that became John John. So this is George Onassis here, and this
Yep.
is you right here with giant shoes. Like, why don't you have shoes that fit? Just like why? Why?
I really don't know. Under MK Ultra and stuff like that, they would come get you. And that was the shoes they gave me to wear that day.
Gotcha. Okay. So like I was saying when you were gone, you were transported all over the world all the time. You had, you were on yachts, you were on planes, you met famous people. It's not a life that most of us can even imagine. And being a kid, you did what the adults told you. You had Secret Service guys, you had like, handlers, you had nannies, you had this, you had that. It's not like most of us grow up with parents, and that's it, right?
Right.
So
I
it's a
was
different kind of a lifestyle.
I was a real made man. When you hear on television and mobster movies and things like that, they say, well, he's a made man. Well, people don't understand what that means. As a
Yeah,
child, I was told what to do. I was shown everything. I was brought to countries. I met very famous, important people of the cabal clique. I was made into thinking the way I thought. It was a lot of MK Ultra, but I was made. You know, in the mob movies, they say, "Oh, well, you kill somebody, you're a made man now. You're part of the family."
yeah,
Well, to me, made man was I went everywhere.
yeah,
I met,
yeah,
you name it, I met them, and I believed that was because they were wanting me to maybe be president someday, to follow my father's footsteps. But
but
they
be
made
controlled, right?
yeah, well, the shadow government controls everything that's going on, is, how I'm explaining it.
Yeah,
So even if I was back then brought up to be the president, they would have controlled me. They
right.
would have been telling me everything to say, what legislation to vote. I don't know what happened, why they did that, and then nothing. A life of total poverty after that, with no help or going out of their way to keep me in poverty, and they've done it. They have done it.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing more and more celebrities offspring, and I can name a few right now that have been abused. They've been kept in poverty on purpose. Because why? No one will listen to them. No one believes them. Like money in this country means authority, right? And also, you can hire lawyers, you can hire people to help you. If you don't have resources, if you're in survival mode, you are not able to, have any traction with your mission of getting the story out. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's
Exactly.
exactly why they did it. I can name two others right cold. And I have talked with one on this channel. I hope to talk with the other one really soon.
And one thing is they made so much money, and
Yeah.
Donald Trump is at the top of the list. They made so much money killing my family.
Yeah.
Not only the Kennedy family, this goes back to my grandmother, Rose, and everything else. all their assets were stolen using murder and identity theft.
Yeah,
My even to my cousins, it was huge. This murder crime ring. I mean, they go around and they plan everything and they put those plans in place.
yeah,
Like I said, it goes all the way to Donald Trump.
yep.
But the billions. And then my mother married Aristotle Onassis, a Greek billionaire. And with that said, people just think if you had $1 billion, what you could do. Now put the $1 billion in a criminal's hands. What could they do? Anything they want,
Right,
from owning banks to owning just about anything from whole towns.
right.
$1 billion is a lot of money, but then you get up to trillions. It's huge what this organized crime ring gets away with.
And when we talk about billions, that was 1960s billions. That was a lot more than it would be now. Although I
And
take it now.
it goes back to the presidents, they're put in place, the Clintons and the Bushes and all of them, they're put in place by these people.
Yep.
And the money trail's there.
Yeah.
It all goes back to these people that have the power, that can't be prosecuted, and they can squash us little people for trying to get the truth out and saying, hey, these people are a bunch of thieves. They don't care about you. They just want you to keep paying your taxes.
Yeah, exactly. That is it. They want us to sit down, shut up, and just work until we die. That's
Yep.
basically the plan for us. Yeah. So we know what I've loved about our talks, among many things, is you've educated me as to why they would go to such lengths to do this. Why would they put a double in your place or anyone else's place? And the shortened answer is they put an asset into someone's life, then they take over their business, their personal finances, their land, their power, their control, their this, their that. They can suck the money out of those estates and then control.
And I had a comment not too long ago that said, well, how come Ted Kennedy didn't notice all these switches and replacements? I met with Ted Kennedy in the 70s, and he said he would not help me. But he was like, I can't help. He was talking to someone else, and he's like, I can't help him. I'm too involved, too deep into it. Um,
Yeah,
but he allowed it to happen. Ted Kennedy was sitting there with the Clintons, big smile on their face, at things like the opening of the library, the JFK library. He was so involved, but he would not help me,
right.
which goes to think maybe he was murdered and replaced.
Yeah,
Oh, this country is turning into a communist country, whether
yeah,
we know it or not. It's time to wake up. When the media is all controlled, they
yeah,
control the news that comes out. The little guy doesn't have a chance. And just like a communist country, you shop at Walmart. There's a Walmart in every single town, and it's one, if you drive through one town, you'll see Walmart, you'll see Target, you'll see the big chain stores in every single town. Wake up, people, because that's really who's running the country.
yeah.
And that's the people that are telling the media what to say and what not to say and keeping us quiet. And it's just one big communist country.
Right. And we know the videos are coming out. So the information is coming out. The Walmart is corrupt. Okay. We know that. It used to be it was all American made stuff. It was inexpensive and all that. Now you've got the worst possible stuff and it's not inexpensive anymore. They're selling food that's chemical food, not healthy. But really, what I wanted to get at is they're involved in human trafficking and the government also controls the Walmarts. So there's a lot of, they use them as bases. There's underground tunnels there. There's all sorts of stuff in Walmart. And the sad fact is many of us have to go there for either economic reasons or because that's the only store in our area.
And you wouldn't believe what they do. Yeah, it's crazy. Robin handed me this. I'd love to share this. If you see this, photo.
I'm gonna stop the share of the website. All right, show it again.
If you can see this, that
Yeah. Oh,
is my fake mother.
yeah.
If you see, she's got her hair wrapped, the big sunglasses to hide
Yeah.
her identity that did
Yeah.
not look exactly like my mother.
Okay.
And who is this right here? Bill Clinton. And how do I know this picture so well? Because I'm the one that took it.
Oh,
I
I'm getting
snapped,
chills.
I snapped this picture. And what I was told, this man right here, I'd never met him before. I did not know him, but I was told he was one of the head Kennedys. I still don't know who he was to this day. I know Clinton, of course, but I was there. Bill Clinton grabbed her crotch that day. I remember that perfectly. Things were done for me to sink into my head to
Right.
remember,
Right.
even under MK Ultra. And even photos like this is stuck to the back of this. But this man right here was my fake mother's boyfriend. This right here was my fake mother Jackie's boyfriend. He was into diamonds big time. So there's so much money they were involved in
Yeah.
stealing and the power and the money. I mean, think of that. I took Bill Clinton's picture.
Yeah. So let's define fake mother. So we've talked about this before, but your mother had a legit double even when she was in the White House. So this woman was kind of always, we'll call it in the background. Occasionally you were interacting with her as her child or your real mother. But
Yeah.
when your real mother was murdered, she basically took over your mother's life.
The Secret Service has many body doubles for people. My mother was murdered in 1975. She was shot right in front of me. I'm an eyewitness to her laying on the ground, dying. I could not do anything. It's a very emotional time because I had a gun pointed at my head and I was being thrown into the back of a car. But in 1975, around there, my mother was killed. I'm an eyewitness to that. My mother was replaced. The Secret Service puts people in, gets them close. And why is that done? I always thought it was for protection. My whole life, well, not my whole life. I woke up, but they have body doubles. And why do they have body doubles? Because they are being run by the cabal. So
Right.
they get the original, they get the billionaire with all the money. They get somebody that looks like that person, then they eliminate the original. And instantly they make billions of dollars. Um, the replacement of my
Right.
mother, the
Right.
replacement of me, the replacement of my sister, because they had all been killed and
Right.
replaced,
Right.
except for me. They thought I was dead, I'm sure, but that made them billions of dollars,
Yeah.
billions. And just remember what we said: what you can buy with a billion, you can buy anything you want with $1 billion,
I guess so. You could buy a DNA lab, right?
or
Okay.
all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So fascinating story, and it's time for it to come out. So we've been doing these videos for the past year, but you've been trying to get this story out for years. And you have been attacked, blocked, your videos taken down, your channels taken down,
I've lost
censorship.
loved ones.
And yeah, they've killed your entire family. They've taken the family fortune. They've taken any legacy you might have had, any education you might have had, any semblance of a normal life. Yeah. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
I want to give a big shout out to King. Before we end up going, little story. I looked at this hat. Look at my hair. It's all messed up. That's why I wear a hat.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the King signed it. Um, right in there,
King
King
Marty.
Smarty. He gifted me a couple of hats and he signed them. And it was kind of like a joke, John. He's like, John, you signed your book for me. I'm signing my hats for you. Um, I had a tan hat that I was wearing this summer when it was 110 and I ruined it.
Yeah, yeah,
And because the sweat gets on here
yeah,
and turns and discolors them.
yeah.
And I was like, oh no, the hat. And I looked at it and I was like, well, he signed this one. It's like a good thing I know him. He can sign me another one. But
Yeah. He's gonna.
yeah, on my website, these necklaces.
I'm gonna show them. All right, so
Oh, yeah, big
yeah.
shout out. Um, his products are amazing. He donated these to me to help rebuild the house. I was able to.
I'm showing the website. I just gotta get over to,
Oh,
yeah,
um,
sorry. I'm gonna go
yeah,
over, yeah.
he
It's
he
easy to
he,
see the pictures here, to talk about the pendants that you offer, and the pictures are really good. So
and they
people,
go to such a good cause. They really
yeah,
do. So
yeah,
we can keep sharing. I can keep buying the internet service and all that
yeah,
other stuff. It's
yeah,
wonderful. With the help of everyone, the house is coming along. Me and Robin got the roof coated. We got all the flooring in the house and most the painting done. The only thing I got a lot of little projects like
yeah, of course.
closet doors and things like that.
Yeah,
But it is coming together. It's making it livable and a happy home.
right.
So, thank you, King. Thank
Yeah.
all you Lions for all your love offerings. It's been wonderful.
So
Um,
this is a rainbow. It's like an iridescent color pendant. And there's a small and a large size, but each of them have your photo on the front. And then, it's basically these are healing PTSD, healing and protective frequency pendants. So we've watched you in the past year. You've worn your pendant, and we've watched your health and your vibrancy return. All right. So
I'm alive. I shouldn't
yeah,
be.
yeah.
It's that simple.
And we
And
talked about, yeah, your heart was measured at like 10% efficiency or something.
right.
And last it was, I don't know, 50, 60%. It's getting
Yeah.
better, right?
Yeah, it's been a few months now since I had it checked, but it was
Yeah,
actually from 10% up to
yeah,
50%.
yeah, yeah,
Um, King Smarty doesn't sell junk on
yeah,
his website. He sent me, not that I can afford to buy them or anything, but he sent me some hoodies. Um, it's top of the line merchandise, people. This I didn't want to take it off. I was wearing one of his hoodies. I've worn it for 3 days. It's so comfortable. It's like a nightie.
yeah.
It keeps you warm. But I had to take it off because I did a video in it the other day, and it was like I can't be wearing the same hoodie and 3 days later.
That's
um,
great. That's great.
I was talking with the king, and I was thanking him um, for the hoodie he sent me, a new hoodie the other day, and I was like, yeah, I need to have it washed. And he's like, we can't smell your stink. I love him because he's like, I can't smell your stink from here over the phone. And
Well, so yeah, so basically the pendants that I was just showing, there's 5 different colors. There's 2 different sizes. They come with an amazing long chain. It's a high quality chain.
yeah, it's a nice chain, a nice
Yep.
pennant. I wear this all the time,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. And with that
Yeah.
said, King donated thousands of dollars to me. Um, this has been a few months, but I actually had sold $1,000 worth of these.
Yeah.
And I called King and I said, King, I made $1,000. I want to pay you something. I do. King was like, no, you get the materials with that $1,000 and finish your house. So
Yeah.
he's donating the pendants to me, and we've come a long way.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
a heart of gold. The man
Yeah.
has a
Yeah. Well, and what he's done is he's infused these necklaces, these pendants with healing and protective frequencies. So no matter, your disease, your illness, your aging, all of that. And for some people, it's really radical and fast. For some, it's a little slower. It lifts away. You feel better. You look better. Your health is better. And we've seen that with you on video. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Before I had just met King. He sent me a pendant. Um, it wasn't this one. I've been wearing this
Right.
one ever since I took that one off.
Yeah, yeah,
But he said, because I got post traumatic stress disorder, I had post traumatic stress disorder. really bad. You think of my life,
Mm.
every time I walk out the door, I'm waiting for that bullet every single time. I step and turn the key in my car, I'm waiting for it to explode. Um, there's been so many attempts on my life, I can't help it, but it gets to me mentally,
Of
always
course.
thinking I'm going to be killed, not for anything I have done, but for who I am and the story I'm exposing to
Right,
people that I love of this
right,
country.
right.
So yeah, post traumatic, and he said, I'm sending you this for your post traumatic stress disorder. And now I got this one with my book on it, and
It's awesome.
it,
It's
it
awesome.
works. It works.
So we talked about this before. Not only is it a collector's item, it's going to be worth a lot down the road, all right, for those that have them. But they are healing and protective. So you can wear them and you've got a radius, a bubble of healing frequencies with you. If you have it in your room or your house that's still helping you, obviously the closer it is to your person, the more you're going to get out of it more quickly. But
Yeah,
um,
and as far as a collector's item, think about it, people. I'm the real deal. And I got 1,000 of these. I had 1,000. I got 950 left now. I gave a few away to people that couldn't afford it.
yeah,
I gave some, and I sold some. But
right.
there's like 950 of these. If you want one, just think, what it's going to be worth years from now when I'm dead and gone or whatever.
Well,
And
we're not talking like that.
I
Well,
know, but it's the point that this is history.
yeah,
It,
history.
it, it
I
is
mean,
history in the making. John's fighting for the truth, and you can help us all out by purchasing one of these. It's huge.
it is the truth. All right. I feel like we're at a very good area to wrap up for today. We've ranted and raved a little bit, but I wanted to readdress the basic story, some of the salient points, because there's a lot of new people on the channel, and we talk every once in a while, so we'll be going into more stories. We'll just rant and rave, whatever we feel like talking about that day. If you can help support John by sharing his book with libraries and local bookstores, buying copies to give away to people, whatever you're able to do economically is really welcome. And if you could purchase a pendant that helps both you, the wearer, and John to complete his home.
And it is so very much
Right,
appreciated.
right,
And every couple of months, I try to buy some extra books for people that can't afford it because
right.
it's that important. So once again, if my address is posted on here and you can't afford it, just say, "Hey, John, I
Yeah,
really can't afford your book," and I'll see what I can do. We'll
yeah,
see what I can do so you can read
yeah,
the book.
yeah. How exciting is that? I mean, really, we're at a pivotal point in history right now. We can feel it. It's going to happen. So exciting. Thank you so much for your time, John. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Sue. I appreciate you with all my heart. And you lions that haven't give up, that keep making videos and posting and sharing every day.
Yep,
God bless you. God
yep,
bless you.
yep.